Hello, everyone. This is Carmen,
And Moises.
and you listen or you're watching YogaBurn. So the title of today's podcast is
I don't know what's going on anymore.
the title of today is "Can you actually make money doing yoga today?"
Okay. Survival.
Survival. No, because this is something that people always ask right when they're starting their yoga journey or when they're opening a yoga studio. Is it possible to am I going to make a lot of money, or what are the parameters and the finances? How are they going to be like when I'll open my studio or when I'll teach full time, right? So it's important to know if you want to, for example, like teaching going from part-time to full-time, and or if you're teaching full-time and you want to open your own space instead of like going from studio to studio to studio. So I mean, you have to run a lot of numbers to actually see if what is good for you, what an option. So I think this podcast, I think, is going to shed some light on that.
Okay.
We're going to try to shed some light on
Gonna
that.
shed some light everywhere.
So, do you want to start?
No,
or
I mean, yes.
Okay.
Because I when you say that today, after how many years have we been doing this? It is 2025. People understand what yoga is, right? At least what we understand by yoga.
2026 already.
Right?
2026.
What?
2026. Yeah.
2026. Right. So you don't have to explain it anymore. People, when you go to a yoga studio, you know what to expect, right? You know what the life more or less is going to be about.
Is this on, by the way? It is on, right? Okay.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
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 Hello. It is on.
Anyway.
It is on. I tested it.
Yeah.
So there's two angles. I mean, one is the very highest, like who do you want to be, so you can differentiate yourself in that market. Because now, being like making money in yoga is not anymore all the step 1, step 2, step 3, because just being a yoga teacher is enough, right?
Yeah.
You have to be able to differentiate yourself from everybody else. You have to
Right.
find your crowd. You have to so many things. And that is one part of the conversation, the topper, the highest one, like the one you ask, who am I? But who am I in this market? So it's just,
Right.
it goes from who am I mystical to who am I in a very specific reasoning for why I'm asking who am I. And then is the completely bottom, the ground level. I go to a class, and how the hell do I become magnetic? How the hell do I get these students to come back?
Right.
Because unless you make people come back,
Yeah.
you're not gonna make it.
Right.
So those are for me the two questions, and they are very extreme right now.
Right.
Like the part that is more operational, like make money, do the budgets, make sure that you have more than one revenue stream. The advice that we used to give back when, I'm not sure is so valuable anymore, right? Because I think that by now we are cleverer about this. We've been doing this for years, many of us, right? So you know what you're getting yourself into. You know the kind of shit that you have to deal with. I mean,
I wouldn't say everyone is like that, because
I mean, but if you don't have that minimum,
many people, yeah.
If you are in the process of, I have to learn to make sure that at the end of the month my numbers meet, right?
Right.
You are way behind the game.
Yeah.
Way. I mean, we have always said that, you and I. You need at least so many 8s. Not 110 and 10 in terms of skills, right? If you want to do this, like you have to be able to deliver a class.
You don't want 10s and 0s.
You don't want 10s and 0s. You don't want to be amazing doing this and horrendous doing that.
Yeah, no.
You want at least give me a 7 in everything, like your time management, how you plan a class, people management, risk management, uncertainty management. That even
10s and 4s. You're also not going to make it.
I agree.
If it's below average and it's really much worse than most people, then you're not going to make it. I mean, how many people we've met that are very talented? I mean, they have amazing skills, whether that is for teaching, whether that is like yoga where they have amazing strength, flexibility, handstands, you name it. I mean, all kinds of things. And then in the other aspects of their lives, as far as organization goes and planning and all that, is just
a circus.
Yeah.
It's unworkable. If you have one area that is not, that crashes everything else, it's going to make everything else not work.
Right.
But the good thing is that, again, it's 2026. Training is available. You know what I mean? Like I go to the class and I sound funny. You can get a voice coach. I mean, everything today, I think almost everything you can learn. You can at least take a class and improve. You won't be a natural. I agree. But the amount of resources we have today available to anybody who wants to go and get those skills,
you can get better, but there are some things that are not trainable.
Je ne sais quoi. Okay,
It's
tell
like,
me.
There are.
Not punching people in the face. Agreed.
I mean, for example, you want to have more students, or you want to have privates.
Okay.
Right? This is something because, speaking of money and revenue, like if you're as a teacher, you want to have privates. I mean, that is one of the easiest ways to make more money, because that is a client that you will see hopefully every week, sometimes twice a week or 3 times a week. And so that person, you have to deliver every time an amazing class. And how to attract privates or how to attract new students to your classes, there are some things that you can definitely learn. I mean, you can, you should not sweat on your student. You should plan a little bit ahead of class. You should show up on time. There are just a lot of rules that maybe for many people it's like, this is pretty basic. And so people will be like, I'm surprised, like this is actually a rule. And you try to connect with a student, listen to their needs and try to provide, but also think of what they need and deliver that as well. But to be truly amazing, I think that is a gift. And so many people try to sell you that you can learn to speak as clearly as I do. And I'm like, there is no way that you will ever learn to speak so eloquently as that person. You can learn to speak very well and very nice, but like that, no. You cannot. I can teach you.
But I don't need that 10.
I can teach you how to get privates. But I'm sorry, I think I have a gift for that. So some things I don't even know how to explain it. And I cannot even put it into words. I cannot even teach you how to get privates.
Let's play that game.
It's just I just can't. I can't.
Okay.
I can teach you with all my heart open, everything I know, and I already know that I'm not going to give you all the information that it is available to me in a private.
Perfect. So you're in a yoga class, group class.
Okay.
How do you identify who is private material?
Someone who is very interested in the class, that has a lot of interest, like is just really trying to do things, is really asking questions during the class or after class or the next day. This is not something that you probably can get a student right away, right? You may need a few classes.
This is like sales. You need like a time. There's a decision cycle.
Although that is not how I got my privates.
No, but don't worry. But
most of them. But a few, I got them like that. And you can tell them without being too pushy. This is something that if we worked privately, we could work on. But not trying to oversell it. Like not trying to really force that person. Like you're a gatekeeper of information and I'm not going to tell you anything unless you buy a private with me. Kind of that vibe. Which some people are like that.
Yeah. Because they don't know how to do it. But you were talking about how to do it right. So if you say, somebody comes with a question and you go back and say, well, that you're saying, that thing that you're talking about requires more time, unfortunately, and more precise instruction. The ideal scenario, the ideal environment is a private, right? What kind of questions are those? What would a student be asking for? How do I know how to recognize? How do I recognize those kinds of questions?
Someone asks a lot of things about the same theme, for example, about my neck, or about my spine in this situation, or about this pose over and over and over, or
I cannot get the pose to happen, or I have so much trouble with pincha.
Yeah.
When I do this in backbends, any backbend, my neck hurts.
Right.
Like things like that.
Yes.
So you're trying to solve a problem they come to you with, and you see that they are very interested in solving the problem.
And exactly. And you can you can play detective, which I don't recommend. You just kind of like shooting darts, like boo 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 boo, and just say maybe try this or this or this or this or this. Or you can say, I think it's better if we have a proper assessment of what's going on, and because maybe what you think is a problem is not the problem. That happens a lot. Like if I feel so weak, and then it's not really that. It's just
you're putting your
I
alignment
feel
is
so bad in wheel, and then you don't have any strength in your wrists, right? I mean, it's just you never know what the answer is going to be.
Okay, so let's say that I've been a yoga teacher for a year. I've had 10 people come to me with that.
Yeah.
I gave the idea of, you know what I mean? I have a technique now. Like I slip, like let it fall, like let it like come up, and one of them says yes.
Okay.
So I don't know how many students, 10 ask, one says yes.
Yeah.
What should I do that first class?
That first class is the most important class. It's the most important thing.
I knew that.
So one of the things that I always said, and it's me sharing like all this information, right?
Millions of dollars of information coming up now.
But one of the things that you want to say is that this class is not so much for you as it is for me, because I want to, obviously we're going to address your issue or issues that we want to cover, but I also want to have a clear picture of what issues you have in your body, not just your spine or your neck, or just kind of a little bit of everything. So this first class is a themeless class because we're doing a little bit of everything that is going on. So I'm already establishing a kind of like a long-term relationship. I don't want someone that is like fix my neck, fix my splits, fix my something. For that, actually today you have social media and you can follow like this trend or this class or this other class or these exercises. And that is not really, usually that's not really the problem. That is a symptom. That is how the problem is reflected. Like if you have some issues in your hips and it shows up in flexion and extension when you do splits, or you have some, your neck doesn't segment or doesn't move, and then it shows up when you arch your neck like that, or you have so much tension in your neck that, or it's so weak that you cannot send your head back, and that's how it shows up when you do wheel. So fixing that pose is pointless. We need to find the problem of the source of all these issues that you're having. And so once I say that and they're okay, they're on board, and then like we're gonna, then you have to teach a class that it gives you the most information you can. You as a teacher gives you the most information you can, and then hopefully you can problem solve something already on day one. You need to prove yourself that you are somewhat worth it, right? That you're worth the time and the money is spent on you. And so hopefully, this is where your skill is going to kick in and where your experience is going to kick in, and then you solve something.
Okay.
Not something that you saw on social media, not something that you think it's cool, like really something like paying attention. The more attention you pay to the way that person moves, the more information that is going to give you. So you're going to gather all of that. So
I have been teaching yoga for 2 years.
Right.
And I am not stupid.
Yeah.
I am just an experience. Right? I don't know.
Inexperience.
Inexperience.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't have 25 years of background when I walk into that room, into that class, into that private. Okay.
Right.
But I do want the best for my student. I do think I can help because having an outside point of view, it's valuable. And it has somebody that is going to really try to think of their problem objectively from outside and try to find solutions. but I only have a couple of years of experience. How do I prove myself in front of that student if I have less resources than you?
I also started, and from day one, I mean, after like months of doing my first teacher training, I was already teaching like some privates.
How do they stay?
Because for example, I'm thinking this one person, she wanted to just feel better in her body, right? She wanted to feel less stressed out. This person, she was an African American, and she was recently divorced, and she had a very young daughter, like 3 years old or something, and so she was not in a good headspace, and she was like all over the place. And so yoga, I immediately understood that for her, she was not so much into asanas as she was more into the mental aspect of it, like trying to calm down and try to, be more centered and more balanced. How did I know that? I don't know. I sensed that. She was very, very thin. I mean, very frantic, and so I thought this person needs something a little bit different.
So what did you give that person?
We did a more mellow class, meaning a lot of seated poses, for example, in the beginning, a lot of time on the floor, a lot of recline poses, not a lot of stressful, a lot of peak poses or anything like that. We did like some standing sequence, but mostly to just be aware of the way she moved and the way her body moved and all of that. And we may have done some more balances, maybe crow or something, and to have a sense of euphoria or accomplishment. But it was mostly, but I always made sure, for example, that we did a nice shavasana, and I gave her a head massage at the end, and I just, rolled the scapulas down and all that. You do a little body massage and all that. And she really liked that, and she really wanted to do it. She was always very eager to that moment, for example. But that's the thing that I'm telling you. I don't know how to put into words what the next person would mean, because the next person I met was completely different.
So to give me an example of one that actually had some kind of pain in their bodies.
So I had one person that she had a titanium big toe in the very beginning, and I had no idea that you could actually have a titanium big toe.
Like Wolverine?
Right. And she couldn't do any squats or anything on the toes, like pretty much anything like you're thinking, or just jumping from down dog to the front and just do like sun salutations or anything like that. It would be very difficult for her. And also any pose where you balance on one foot. When you are just doing tree pose or warrior 3 or whatever, half moon, she had a really hard time balancing, for example, and she was very frustrated. She was also getting very impatient because she saw that before she could do that, it's not like she was excellent, but she could balance on one leg, and now she could no longer do that. So you kind of lose. I think if you have an ability and then you lose it, you become even less patient. Because, let's say you're working towards, I don't know, Kapotasana or some amazing, then you kind of like, I'm patient, right? But imagine you could do something and then you lose so much, then you quickly want to gain that back. And so for her, there was a lot of anger and a lot of frustration in the class. And I tried to do poses that I try to introduce the use of the wall, introduce the use of props, like it is something positive. Like you need to gain a new awareness in your body, right? A new awareness. Maybe there's people that I haven't seen, but there's people that can very much balance on their foot without the big toe. Are you going to have a problem? Yes. But I'm pretty sure that you can learn to balance and to distribute the weight and to learn to use again your big toe and so on. Even if it's a bionic big toe, you can definitely relearn how to do all of that. But it is like foreign agent coming into your body. And so you need to learn, and your nervous system needs to learn how to deal with that. I didn't even phrase it in those terms, but I told her, you need to be patient, but it is going to happen. And for me, I honestly believe that. It's not, when I see a lot of people teaching, it's like, it's okay if you cannot do this, or you're amazing, this person. I'm like, I don't really believe
You don't believe
this
your
teacher.
words. I don't believe your words, your
I don't
tone.
believe this person saying you're amazing. And I'm like, I don't believe that you think that I am amazing. You sound fucking fake. You sound fake. But when I said, I believe that you can do this, they believe me.
That is how she described you, the one in Chicago. It's like, she doesn't believe that you can't.
So
that's what she said.
It's true. And so for me, it was, you want to teach from a place of being completely honest. First, because I don't know how to lie, how to fake, like, oh, you're amazing. I'm like, no, I'm not going to say you're amazing if you're shit. I'm just not going to do that, right? But you can totally do this. It's possible. We're going to do it. But will we do it this week? I don't know. This month, I don't know. But we will do it. We have to, we're going to do it. Or we're going to die trying,
Exactly.
We're going to do it. And so they believed me. And so this person was in a lot of physical and emotional pain, both,
So is it like you bring somebody to your life that believes that you can?
I think that is an important element. I think that is very important. I think that you need to feel that your teacher is very invested in you. Like you really matter to that person. You really matter to them. It's not like, yeah, all my students are very important to me. I love them equally. I'm like, who believes that? Nobody believes that. That energy is not believable. You're not believable. So but you have to express it in a way that there's no doubt about it. And so they believe you.
So what if I'm not very sure of myself as a teacher? Because I may be 22 and finding myself as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my most authentic self, and I'm going to go with authenticity as the value. I'm not going to say that it's positivity, or it's like, no, I'm going to go with authenticity. You really try to find what clicks for you, and if me and my skills as a person can provide value to you and your life, right? But I'm young, so I don't know who the hell I am as a person yet. I'm kind of confused and stuff. What would you tell a person like that?
To the teacher.
To the teacher. And I am an honest searcher of truth, and I am looking for I have my best. I mean, I'm not like a fake, oh, please, Carmen, tell me how to do this. And what I'm really looking for is something cheap and fast, and just some kind of miraculous response or answer or secret or technique that gives me everything I want without any fucking effort, because that exists too.
Right.
And those are not the people we're talking to. Yeah. We are not talking to those people. Okay, we're talking to somebody who's honest with themselves, who's looking for some meaning in life, shit like that, right? That's what we're looking for. That's who we are talking to.
So one of the things that you can say is definitely communicate with your student and say, this is something I'm not that experienced with, but I'm going to do my best to understand your problem, and you go on Google, you just find a lot of books and documents and people and videos that talk about that. Today, you can find so much information, much more than when I started as a teacher.
Yeah.
So you can find videos, dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of videos about everything. So then you start investigating, you can start trying. So a lot of things are a little bit trial and error, because you need to find out, okay, is this person moving the toe like this, hurt, or like this, or the neck like this, or like this, or when you put weight on it, or when you're upside down. I mean, I need more parameters. I need more information to know what happens in your neck besides my neck hurts or my back hurts, or I can't do splits. I need more information, and so that this process is going to take a few classes, but if you stay with it, I can give you my best response. I mean, my best answer on what I know, what I think, what I've seen, and obviously, the more experience you have, the better you're going to assess that. But in the beginning, I didn't make that many mistakes. I was pretty accurate because it's something. There's something about the way people talk to you and the way they explain things that something inside you is going to be awakened and say, this is important. At least that's how I feel it. So when someone is talking to me about their lives or their habits or what they do or what happened last week when I hurt my back or something, they're talking and then something says like, what?
Wait.
This is important. This is important. And then you ask a little bit more and a little bit more. And many times I could help. And for many people, just a little bit of help is enough. You don't have to solve 100% of a problem. You can solve 20%. And that means that we are on the right track. Don't have expectations of you have to fix me everything or all my pain is pain 100%. But we are fixing something and we're already on the way. So acknowledge that it is actually doing better, and this is helping you. This is helping you out. So just kind of point that out as well.
How much did you learn when you had to fix somebody else's problems?
A lot. I think I didn't, compared to what I learned in a teacher training, I learned zero in a teacher training, and I learned everything in life. Like it's just same as when you go to college and you just, you started coding or programming, even what we did, which is coding. I mean, it just couldn't be any more applicable, right? After that, and you go to a workspace, you're absolutely not prepared at all for a workspace, even as a coder. It's like the interactions of teams and people and meetings and all that, and how to say no, that's incorrect, that your solution is incorrect, and
not to
so
call
on.
them idiots. I know that you struggle with that.
There's a lot of things that have nothing to do with what you study, and you learn all of that afterwards. So when the training, you may learn, yes, this is a sun salutation, this is a knee, this is how the knee works, how the shoulder works, or whatever, anatomy. Sequencing,
bunch of poses.
Poses, but then constructing all of that from an abstract to an applicable case of someone that has this problem. How can you fix it with this tool, with all these tools that you've learned? That is not happening. It's just you need to do it, and maybe you run like one very cookie cutter example, which is probably someone that you're never gonna get. You're always going to get a weird case, because if it was like a very general case, that person would have found a fix already.
Exactly.
It's like my lower back hurts, but if it was something obvious, they would have found already somebody that could have, or they themselves would have found something that, that would fix them.
Mm-hmm.
But since it's not fixed.
So you're the seventh person they go to.
Then you have to think like, okay.
So what skills in a teacher training or in general or from teaching or from studying would help to prepare you to have a chance, have a shot at helping someone in this case? Again, I'm a teacher that has been doing this for 2 years only.
So
what do I focus my time on? How do I keep building my skills? What do I...
You can do it. I mean, if you don't, you can do it. Just give free advice to that person, for example, or those 10 people that you were saying that were asking you, and do follow-ups with them. I mean, those are like cases that you are actually practicing on, really, whether you think about it or not. So you can just practice on them.
But do you make shit up, or do you say you don't know when you don't know?
No, you don't make shit up. You just say, can you try this, try that? And then you have to trust that they actually do it. Who knows if they're actually going to do what you're telling them. And maybe they get better because they went to get acupuncture and nice plunge and sauna, and you had nothing to do with their improvement. And they just took on painkillers and they rested and it got better. But let's imagine that.
So you're not giving a diagnostic, you're giving an exercise and tell me what happens.
Something that happens, so just so that you have information. I mean, let's say you're very rookie and you don't know, then you just kind of like, this is free advice. You don't have to pay me or anything, but this is what what I would do.
But you're saying advice.
Try this.
When you say advice,
Drills, exercises,
exactly.
whatever.
Try this stuff and see how it feels. Tell me what happens. Go slowly. Obviously, don't like. But you're not coming and saying, I think this may be it. You're not going there.
And actually, that's almost never the case. Like it's almost never like one thing that messed you up or one thing that is going to fix you. That is almost never happens. I've actually never seen it. Because the body is very complicated. It's very complex, and it just your hip flexors will get like that tight for many reasons, for different things and different inputs that you've done, and different things that have happened to you. Not just from sitting in a chair 8 hours a day. That may do a lot of the damage, but there's many other things that are also playing a part. One of them, like maybe you're not moving and you're never stretching them. It just, who knows. But I want to say that besides the most important part, let's say that because everyone starts, you get a private or you get a student, the most difficult part is to retain that student and retain that private. That is the most difficult part. Imagine that someone comes with a problem and they want to, and you somehow fix it or semi-fix it or something. Then it's very hard to make them commit to stay with you as a student, as a teacher. It's really, really, I think that is when you really show your amazing skills as a teacher.
By retaining them.
By retaining them. Not by attracting them, especially today. You can have a huge following on social media, and then, I don't know, you'll have 70 people show up to your class, but how many of those are repeats? How many of those go to your classes every week? How many of those classes that you go or you teach nationally, internationally, and how many people repeat your workshops? That is very telling of the quality of you as a teacher, right? So, and that is, to me, much more important than to gain, because sooner or later, someone is going to give you a chance. Somebody is going to take a chance and ask you for a private, whether because you put a very low price or whatever is very appealing, or you're teaching for some studio that has a lot of students, and somebody is gonna show up in your class.
So let's talk privates first, and then we go to normal classes. How do you make them repeat your private?
That is.
How did you make them repeat your private?
That is a very complex. It's complex theme to cover. I don't even know how to explain.
I know something you did, that you always booked the next class at the end of this one.
That always has to happen. Like never say call me for next week, or that it's just, they're never gonna call you. So you have to always lock the next private. So next Tuesday at the same time, or if you see Tuesdays and Fridays, so this Friday I'm gonna see you, and make it very clear the schedule and everything. But I think there needs to be a sense of satisfaction, a sense of accomplishment at the end of a class, as well as a sense of I need to keep working, I need to keep improving, I need to keep doing. And it's a very fine line between those two objectives. Because if you just deliver too much on you're doing great, you're amazing, which is a lot of people are overindulgent in that. And they tell you, you're amazing, this is fantastic, oh, great form, you're doing, then
I have nothing to improve.
Then it'd be like, okay, you have nothing else to teach me because you correct me nothing. So then,
and I'm already great.
So I'm already great. So why am I here? Why am I wasting my money on you? And then you have the other extreme, which I tend to be a little bit in that group.
You indulge.
In the other group of, this is shit. You're doing this is. I don't want to see this again. This is terrible. My eyes are crying. I'm so sad right now. I can't. I need to hide because this is just the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life.
I need to look away.
Right. I need to just not look. because I'm gonna get depressed.
So these are like, once again, what you just said are like, should
actually-
they take notes on how to communicate with clients?
I actually would say terrible, like, but I would say in a voice that is like, oh, this is terrible, and then they would start laughing. But they knew that somehow I meant.
You never said terrible with that tone of voice.
My privates, yes. I meant
That's
it.
why I've never seen you say terrible like that.
I meant. They knew I meant it a little bit. Like it just. This is
It's
terrible.
so terrible.
This is terrible. And no, but and then like last workshop that I was teaching, and like, oh, this is awful. And then they were all laughing. I'm like, no, I'm serious. This is awful. But you cannot say that in every single post, every single thing. You have to like sprinkle that in a couple of moments and say, no, this one needs more improvement. Come on, we can do it. And also with that, bring the solution. All right. So this is terrible, and you're like, okay, so what do I do to not make it terrible? Okay, yeah, you tell me. So then you're like, this is terrible, but guys, I have a solution. This is what I think it's gonna work. And so like that problem solving in the moment, it's going to lift up their spirit a lot, and they'll be like, yes, great, I like this teacher because it's just really problem solving everything, and it's really helping me. I like it.
Is that how you get people to come back to your workshops too?
I don't know why people come back to my workshops. That could be one of the reasons why. I always try to establish that this is going to be, if you're serious about your practice, this needs to be a longer conversation. So it cannot be like, okay, I'll see you this weekend, I'll never see you again. I mean, every time that I'll see you, your body's going to trust me more. You will understand so much more what we're doing, and we're going to access different layers of your physical, emotional, mental practice. I mean, it's just getting deeper and deeper, and not necessarily in asanas, which I don't care about. It's just a deeper understanding of you, your body, how you move, what patterns you have, what habits, and just try to, navigate all of that.
But you are the kind of teacher that would attract someone that wants to like improve their practice, work hard, blah, 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 right? Imagine that I'm not that kind of teacher.
Okay.
I am a teacher that is more uplifting, more entertaining, more have a good time, but in a lighter way, for example, right?
Yeah.
If that was my personality, that is how I like to teach classes. Is anything transferable in the way that you get people to come back that I can use in my classes, being so different from you in terms of styles?
Using that uplifting throughout the class is definitely going to help you a lot. Like, and when the most uplifting people I've met when they're teaching, and I'm thinking of like 2 or 3 cases already, those people are always on. Like energetically, they're just so given from the very first moment they enter the studio. It's not when they enter the class. They already, as they walk in the studio, they're already like talking, say hi, networking with people. How are you doing? Yeah, I went to this weekend. I went to this restaurant, and it's just they're very magnetic, and I think that helps you a lot in making people come back to your classes. If you have that kind of personality.
So is it an energy? That's what we have said so many times.
Energy.
Do they come back because
crucial.
of energy? Do your students come back because of your energies?
I believe so. Or you will attract definitely the people that will like and will want to share your energies.
So what if I'm like?
But if you're very introverted.
Exactly. What if I'm more like analytical or introverted,
Yes.
and even maybe a little bit sad, right? It's true. I mean,
Yeah.
I see sometimes teachers that may know what they're saying, and when you look at them, what I want to tell them is that you're too sad.
Right.
I mean, who wants to spend time with you and your sad energies, even if you know what you're saying, even if what you have to offer is valuable, but I go in and it's a bit of a sad experience. Why the heck would I want to go to a sad experience?
Yeah.
But it's very hard for anybody to say, shit, I have a sad kind of demeanor or energies or frequencies, whatever you call it, And I need to change that when maybe my personality is built around that. My identity is built around that. I know who I am when I behave that way, right?
Then I would say the best thing you can do is build a persona that you only bring it up when you're teaching classes. So you are a sad person, you're very introverted, you are whatever, but when you teach, you're completely different when you walk. And it's not lack of authenticity, it's an armor that you put on. And then you go deliver the class like that, but you can't sustain that level of energy or that happiness because that is not in you. You know, you're just more introverted or more sad or whatever. So I'm just not like that. But in the class, for me, it's very important that I have a great time in the class. And many times, actually the majority of time that I teach, I don't want to be there. Like, I'm just like so fucking sick and tired of teaching. I really am. So every time I come, like, I don't want to teach. And every time I make myself like the class, like the being there, like it's almost like you fake it, and then it changes you from the inside. All of a sudden, you are so cheerful and so happy, and you're like, I'd rather be nowhere else in the world. This is the best place to be right now. And I love to be with those students that like half an hour ago, I was, I hate you all. And I want to be there. And it always transforms me. And it always changes me because I'm not like, introverted or I'm not like sad, but I am somewhat pessimistic, I would say.
Burnt.
It's a better word.
That's the word.
So I feel more burned. And I start the class and I'm like, oh, shit. But then something changes.
Clicks.
And then you're so happy when you finish a class, you're euphoric. And you just, I love it so much. It was amazing. Why do I hate it? It's so fun. I love it.
I think that is a normal...
And I think that happens to some degree in all good yoga classes. In all good, because it's a good exchange of energy. So everybody comes out more uplifted. And you're like, oh my God, I did this, or I did this pose, or I tried this, or we had so much fun. And so it's that uplifting and that sharing of energies, that exchange of energies is part of the reason why yoga will always work, will still work, and will always work. I mean, maybe there's less people that practice yoga now, but there will always be people that will practice yoga, always. And not necessarily for asanas, but for that, for that exchange.
Because I do believe that we have many personalities that we go through, right? So you talk to your parents and you're one person. You talk to your spouse, you're another person. You talk to your little niece, you'll be another person. You talk to people at work and you're another person. So in all those places, you can be authentic, but you're presenting a different face because the situation requires a different face. I mean, what these people need from me is different from what that person needs from me. I'm not going to talk the same way to a 3-year-old and an 80-year-old, right? So, but I can be both myself in those situations.
Yeah, correct.
The person that is between classes is different than the person that is in the class.
Right.
The question that I have for you is, how do you allow the class to improve your mood? I
don't know.
How the hell does that happen?
It's just very...
Because you're very burnt out when you're not in the class.
It's true. I honestly don't know. I don't know why.
But do you just get into the thing so deeply, like stop thinking about anything else? Like you go deep, or the only thing you think about is the class? But you think about the time sometimes.
Yeah, I look at the time. I look at the clock.
Time. But is it when you see them trying the poses, or is it when you're like running through the sequence in your head, or is it like by the flow of the thing, and or you feel the poses in your body and you say like, this feels good?
I think explaining the things helps me. It gives me happiness. Like explaining something and people getting it that gives me
A connection?
I don't know. Yes, not doing the poses. I don't care. But I'm also burned up from that. Or someone doing like an amazing pose. I don't care. But somebody clicking, like you see someone holding a 1 second handstand, and they come down and like, oh my god, I just had the biggest awakening, right? And they're like, wow. Then you realize, you recognize that. You're like, this is a meaningful
It was valuable.
moment.
It was a meaningful moment.
Exactly.
So sharing a meaningful moment.
Yes.
But
And
how
so
about if
I try to make it, and so I
but
try
the
to
handstands are at the end of the class. I mean, in the beginning, but you don't take so long to be okay in the class.
no,
Sometimes
just a few minutes.
exactly. So how do you feel, or how do you see or recognize value so soon in the class? If that is actually the key that we're looking for, I don't know if that is the answer we're looking for, but
I think, well, this is a very specific
Yeah.
problem to have, like being burned up. Like almost nobody here is going to be burned
no.
up
But what I'm looking
from
for
being
is
burned.
what I'm looking
you
for
know.
is what is gonna help you in the class to have that personality kick in. That's what I'm looking
I
for.
think it's almost like you let the yoga and you let the practice and you let the sequence and everything get into you. You don't fight it, because when I go in the class in the very beginning, I'm fighting a lot. I have a lot of I hate to be here. I don't want to be here. I want to get out. I want this 2 hours to be gone already. I hate everybody in this room. I don't want to do it. But as soon as I start, so it's a lot of fight. It's a lot of conflict. As soon as I start, I surrender, and then I say, I'm here. I have to do this. Accept it. And like so many other times before, it's going to be amazing. And it's almost like an exercise in trust, an exercise in opening up. And then you go, and within a few minutes, you're already like, do, 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 do. And then at the end, it just keeps going up. You're like, this is amazing. I don't know why I was like that in the beginning. But it was like that. And pretty early on, I got burned up. It's not like I've been teaching for 25 years and I got burned on year 20. I was burned up already.
By the end of your privates, by year 10.
By year 10 for sure, but probably even before.
that.
Like,
I mean, because I remember that we've been going through phases, right? So we had a long phase of privates, a long phase of studio, phase of traveling, then online. So and each of those phases started as something new, something refreshing, right? But it always came back to, I'm tired of this phase. I mean, we haven't been able to fix the problem of how can I be happy when I'm not teaching the class, right? When I don't let that whole energy come to me and the surrender and stuff.
This is something
ideally,
I am working on myself.
Ideally, would be great to realize
to never have that feeling.
Exactly. I mean, why?
Yeah.
If I know that I'm gonna love being in the class, why can't I love being right before the class,
right,
or right between the class? Or because I understand that you teach so freaking much that you get tired, and when you're tired, you're hungry, you haven't slept well, everything looks awful. I understand that, but when you are like rested, you feel okay, the body doesn't hurt too much, etc., etc., why can't you remember the happiness of being in the class and let that be the driver of your mood? Right? Why can't that happen? I'm not saying why shouldn't you. I'm saying why can't, because it's not happening. And I'm not saying it's wrong or you're wrong. It's like, how can we make that happen? Why can't we make that happen?
I think it is already some sort of programming inside me that it's always bringing up like, this sense of, I hate this and I'm so burned up, because I also crave the change and feeling amazing afterwards. And I crave like the difference of energies.
So it's giving you something.
I love that. I think maybe my psyche, it loves that roller coaster up and down. Like just feeling so happy and then so sad and I'm just crying and then so happy again.
Just the drama.
It's like
you're drawn to the drama.
it's something inside me loves it. It's just I can't get enough of it. So it's I
Because
think
I am more like,
yes, you are.
and you're more like, I
like
like
that.
when you're like, and then it's like, and then of course, perfect match.
It's this exact. I think that's exactly what happens. I think that is part of what happens. But let's touch briefly about
What?
about a yoga studio because I want to touch briefly about.
So everything we said till now, scratch it, and we were talking about studios now. Oh no, sorry.
No,
Okay.
about
What are we talking about?
Like
How to make money in a studio?
yeah.
So beyond the teacher, beyond the privates, beyond the classes, is it like the owner of the studio? You think now? You're talking now?
Yeah, I mean, as the owner, let's say that you open a yoga studio. You're a teacher. You have some sort of following, some sort of success, and then you open your own space, right?
Wow.
Then, or you're thinking about it, or you would like to do it. Then, what is it a good idea? Is it not? Because when somebody asks me that, I always say don't do it.
That's what we always say. Like it's never a good idea. What happens is that the business of yoga is not a super money making kind of business.
Yeah.
It's not. I mean, for one very simple reason, you have a room that can fit mats, right? So do the math. You have this room. How many mats can I put in there? 20 mats. How many mats are gonna fit? How many mats are gonna come in and be used every time? Let's say 15. How many classes do I have a day? How much can I charge for a class? And do the math. Just do the math. How many times can I fill a room with this, and how much money can I get from each class?
Yeah.
So just do the math of that. How many classes can I have a day? And you're gonna realize that you have to have so many classes, right? So the studios that make money are like crazy chance. I mean, because we saw one that somebody came in and he had 3 yoga studios in the place with 2 floors, and there was a little spa in there, and the style that he was teaching was very flashy, warm, with little weights, like very commercial is a very good word. It was very commercial. So it would appeal to lots of people,
right?
Like they can just come in and do whatever a little bit and then go home. And he hit the time when yoga was the thing to do, right? Because the people that are going to go now and do yoga are people that want to be there. So people that don't know what, because people are going to be going from one place to the next. It's like a little bird swarm, like a swarm of birds, right? And now
they go to one place.
They go now. So this is the gym time, and everybody goes to the gym. Oh no! They are running. Oh no! Wait, tennis. Oh no! Wait, So and there's like a little they move in flocks, right? That is how society and people were looking for solutions. Because the funny thing is that no thing you do, bless you.
Thank you.
No thing you do is going to give you the solution. The solution is going to come in once you realize that you have to invest the time, the effort to actually create the solution with your actions. Yes. But that is not what people want. What people want is go outside and get the solution from outside. So we go from place to place to place to place to place. And there was a time when the place to go was yoga. So now the place to go is whatever the hell they are doing right now. Which means that the people doing yoga now want to be there.
Yeah.
Right? So the kind of service you have to give to people that want to be there is very different to this flock of tourists that come in and out. And the time will come when the tourists come back to yoga.
They will.
They will. This is going to be a circle, and the circle of life. So all this is going to happen is that now the teachers that teach yoga want to be there, are going to grade some skills. They're going to learn to be yoga teachers. Because it takes some effort to have your class with people. So the teachers that we have now will be better teachers. When the tourists and the flock of birds come into the rooms, more teachers will come in because they will see opportunity, but more horrible teachers will be created because they don't need to be good. Right? So it's all a very interesting ecosystem that lives through time and da-da-da-da. So if you want to do a yoga studio now, you need to understand that you're coming into the yoga market when it is not where the flock of birds is.
Right.
It is where yoga students want to be there.
So you need to create a place for discerning.
Exactly.
For discerning customers.
And give some kind of solution, because I don't think that the solution that people in the 90s or 2000 or 2010, 2020, the people that walk into a yoga studio looking for some kind of answer, that want to be there, that want to keep practicing, that they are not looking for the same things today than 15 years ago.
Correct.
You need to find what are they coming for today in 2026.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, like so, gathering that kind of information.
But the thing is that the people that are coming to a yoga studio to look for some kind of answers in 2026, they will still be looking for something meaningful to them. So what is meaningful to someone in 2026 that is going to be different from what was meaningful in 2010 or in the year 2000? Right. So what is meaningful evolves, but the search for the meaningful is not going to change. That is the reason why people go in, right? So you need to answer those questions if you're going to have a yoga studio.
Yes.
And then get a place at floor level.
that would help. I think. I mean, it's that would be ideal, right? At floor level. Also, kind of listen to what your students like, also, because there's some things you can provide something and say, I want to offer this kind of classes, but also you want to get some feedback on what is it that people want as well.
Those are the two rooms that I always talk about in the business.
But what they want.
One, what they need. One, what they want.
Yeah.
They want what they want pays for the bills.
Right.
You need to give them what they want. And what they want may be hot yoga. Give them hot yoga. But you're completely like, I need more than 26 poses in my life. What they need is to explore and do all these things. Then go into the other room, and that is the reason why you keep the studio open, where you train your teachers to be better teachers, etc. Right? So each of the two places have its value, but you need to give them what they want and what they need under the same roof. Then your studio can work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then create as many streams of revenues as you can.
But one thing the reason why I always say people like don't open a studio is because the amount of work that it requires, you don't understand how little life you're gonna have. Even if your studio does okay, and you're not struggling that much, which I doubt it, because most people are very spread out, it's very spread thin in the tasks that they have to do, teach and manage the website and then go and sub for other people and just take care of family. I mean, people are very spread thin. You need to, I forgot what I was going to say. If you need to be 24/7 there. It's a life sentence almost.
But that happens with every business.
But I didn't know, when I entered it, I didn't know that it was going to take over so much of my life. I don't have a child, but a lot of people that have, they always say that, like, you don't know how much your life is really going to change after a kid. You're coming prepared. You're thinking, okay, I'm gonna have to work very hard in my life. I won't do the things that I do right now. But it changes so much more than what they're expecting. And I think a business is like that, especially a small business. So you have to work your ass off so much that. And
there's no time for anything else.
There's no time for nothing else. Like,
at least for the first 2-3 years.
Rest, no time to anything. And if you're hurt, if you're injured, you still have to teach. If somebody dies in your family, you still have to show up, because people are gonna forgive like one time or twice, but they're not gonna be, forgiven all the time. Like, oh, it's okay. This week we have this going on. Consistency builds patterns and builds, clientele and loyalty. So you have to always be there. You have to be the one that teaches. If you're always teaching the Christmas class, if you're always teaching every year, then you'll have every year a better Christmas class. If you teach sometimes you don't, then that lack of consistency, then who knows, who's going to show up to your Christmas class. Same every week to your weekly classes or to your workshops that you do occasionally every 3 months or every 4 months. So that needs to have, everything needs to have a cycle, whether it's a weekly or quarterly or yearly. So you're always constantly at the service of the studio. You need to go get toilet paper, you need to go fix the toilet, you need to go, just take care of the website and just update things on the website. You need to respond to this person that forgot on her bag or her purse in the studio, and you have to just drive out of your way to bring her the bag back. It just so that people know that you're taking care of them. So you're just taking care of so many people or trying to take care of so many people that there's almost no energy left for you, for your life, for your family if you have. So and not to mention if you already have people working for you, teachers working for you, because if it's not their studio, if they're not your co-owners or co-partners, then they don't care and they just work. They just work there. So the level of commitment is not as intense as yours. So you have to deal with also their unexpected problems, their unexpected issues. And if they cannot show up to teach a class, then ultimately that class is going to fall on your lap and you have to teach yourself that class.
So how do you make money?
And
because some people are making money.
For me, with incredible work ethics and incredible dedication and commitment, the people that I see that are doing the best are doing that. And maybe in your area, you just happen to be in an area that yoga is very popular, or people love Ashtanga, or they love hot yoga, and then so you get a little bit of an easier ride because you get more students per class. But still, those people will still have to work so much to get those students. Just there's people that work a ton and get 8, and people work a ton and they get 30. But you still have to work a ton. It's just. And when I mean a ton, most people, just given the effort that they put in the yoga class, I always think if this is the effort that you put in one yoga class or one yoga workshop that is only 2 hours, you're not prepared for a whole life of this, 24/7 of the maximum effort in this class. So your personality shows up in the way you practice. So I'm just reading your personality. And every single person that is a studio owner works very hard. They work very hard in their personal practice. Whether it is advanced or not advanced, that doesn't matter. I'm not saying they're very committed to their practice. They want to improve. So if they practice and they own a studio, then their practice is very committed. If they own a studio, maybe they don't practice. That could be the case, and that's not. But if they practice and they open a studio because they want to practice and they maintain some sort of practice, that personal practice is very committed. You can tell if somebody has both, then it's definitely that person is really hardcore.
The people that we know that are good practitioners that have their own studio, they do nothing else in their lives.
Yeah, nothing else.
That's it. Their lives is their practice and their studio.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Because managing a studio, usually the studios are not too big, right? They are like on the smaller scale. So they can still have some kind of practice. Because if the studio has lots and lots of teachers, it will take so much of your time.
Right.
Right? There's so much administration they have to do around.
Right.
If you have somebody that helps you a little bit, that is great, right? And also if you want to make some money, you need to have the classes, the workshops, special events, trainings, retreats. So the more things you offer, the better.
Yeah.
So organizing them takes time.
Yeah.
So if you have some time with organizing them, it's not delivering the class. It's just organizing the infrastructure of the administrative part of you go from here to there. You reserve the place that you're gonna go to, days and times and things like that, right? So
that's what owning a studio with somebody is usually better. Usually works better. You can be alone and you can do it alone for sure. but
two people are much stronger.
Two people are much stronger. It's not double, it's
Way more than double.
exponentially stronger.
And actually, even if you're like kind of alone, but you have a right hand person, somebody you can trust,
Yeah.
that version we have also seen
Yeah.
working. I mean,
Yeah.
that person gets really special treatment and special, and that makes sure that everything works for that him.
As
her,
long as
right?
that person gets the recognition
Exactly.
or compensation that they think they deserve, then it works.
Then it works. So they don't have to be like co-owner on a piece of paper, sharing the ownership of the place, but at least they get something out of it. That actually also works.
Yeah.
So one person is hard. If you have somebody you can lean on, it makes your life so much easier.
And not only that, you can also use that person as a soundboard for many of your ideas. Because many times, I mean, the best part of owning a studio is the creative part, the creative aspect of it. I mean, I always say no, but it is. One is the people you meet, because you meet tons of people, and it's just so fun. I mean, it's really amazing. And then two, it's
creative part.
The creative. Thank you. It's like I was just thinking about like all the people I met. My mind was like monkey brain. The creative aspect of it, of creating a new program or this workshop or this new class or this event that we're gonna do, and it's just very exciting. You're like, ooh, but sometimes maybe it's not such a, for you it's a great idea, and for everybody else like what is this person? What is she doing, right?
Go to yoga.
But if you have somebody that, how about if we do this, then you have somebody to bounce your ideas onto, and then they reply, and vice versa. So you feel so much less lonely, because it's very lonely. It's a very lonely life. So you feel like so much better. Like, okay, I can ask you something. You can reply, and then you can ask. And yes, of course, there's things that sometimes we're gonna have like fights, or we're gonna have problems, and we're not gonna agree. But overall, I think it's definitely better. Like, it's just it is way better to have somebody there for you. You know, if nothing else, to just share this shit sandwich with somebody, which always,
it's great.
It kind of you swallow it like easier. No?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
it's like
it tastes like shit, but
how's yours tasting? Shit. Yes. This was different than last week's shit.
Yeah, we're sharing it together,
exactly.
It feels like you're not
sharing,
alone.
Yeah.
In your misery, because you're not alone. So you feel you feel like you're with somebody. You're connecting with somebody. So someone understands you.
The people.
So anyway.
Okay.
But I think this was a very good. I'm very impressed. Like we talk so much, and
we talk so much. It's like, oh my god.
Okay,
let's go.
But I think it was very good. They're very good talk. Always so interesting. All right, so thank you guys for listening. This was Carmen
and Moises,
and you listen to YogaBurn. See you next time. Bye.
Ya.